everyone. Today we are going to represent all Chinese citizens about climate change on the China position. We will categorize China into three parts: northeast, south, and northwest, to analyze whether the area intensified the climate change in China and how the area is affected. Also, we will give the actions that what the government did. Finally, we will outline what the obstructions that China met and the cooperation with other stakeholders and the goal. China, with 9,600,000 square kilometers and 1.3 billion populations, located in the northern hemisphere and cross temperate monsoon, subtropical monsoon, tropical monsoon, temperate continental plateau, these 5 kinds of climate. Also, it has multiple terrains which contains plateau, flatlines, mountainous region, basin, and hills. These conditions made China encounter variety challenges from the nature. And since the climate change, China did suffer some problems. There isn't a more serious one than haze in the northeast China. Haze, which also connected with PM 2.5. In 2013, the 21st of October, which was the second day of the concentrated heating day, there was a large scale of haze breaking out as the center in Harbin covered the whole northeast China. The index of the PM 2.5 on that day was 1,000 microgram per year in average, and this number is more than 40 times over the World Health Organization standard. This emergency made the airports, highways, and all schools closed temporarily. And these are how haze looks like on that day. Lots of carbon dioxide made by the coals and the exhaust gas from the burning abandoned crops. Also from the research, in recent 50 years, the temperature raised to 1.7 degrees per 10 years and the precipitation decreased 113 millimeters per 10 years. It makes winter warmer and drier and all the gas can't spread. But the climate change is not the only reason to cause the haze. It is the old industrial base with many high-polluting manufacturers in northeast China, such as the thermal power station, iron steel manufacturer, petrochemical industrial, and mechanical industrial, and etc. things. In addition, a number of those enterprises' atmospheric pollution control facilities are not perfect. They violated the standard to discharge the exhaust, and the consequence is they are going to produce 96,000 tons of sulfur dioxide, 124,000 tons of nitrogen oxide, and 29,000 tons of dust. And that will lead to 6,100 people premature died, 7,600 pediatric asthmas, and 8,100 adult respiratory system disease. Climate change surely not the only reason, but the human factors intensified climate change on a certain extent. However, there is kind of good things. As mentioned before, forest chilling, these kinds of damage are decreasing due to the rising temperature, but following with the high rate of drought. Corn, rice, potatoes got the larger planting area and their development process speed up. Also, they got a better yield and quality as well. So as a whole, it is good for the agriculture. But after things happened, the government responded very actively. They gave 5 I's for the pollution: step up inspections of polluting sources, suspend and renovated all unqualified factories, strengthen manager burning abandoned crops, and the scientific team should make more efforts on discovering new energy and suggest everyone to take the responsibility. Also, there's 2P for the agriculture: protect the wetlands and protect the existing plants and making more green belt.
Okay, now let's move to the South China. Acid rain is one of the most environmental issues in South China. Firstly, acid rain will dissolve the surface of building and agriculture. The world's largest building now is indeed changed a lot from the original. The virtual circle of nutrients is affected, lead to the reduction of output. From the research, crop damage area of 11 provinces and cities in southern China is 12.874 million hectares per year. Financial loss is 42.6 billion yuan in average due to the 37.4% acid rain frequency. The reasons of acid rain are very complex, which is a result of the combination of anthropogenic emissions and the natural conditions. Firstly, acid rain is exacerbated by the rapid growth in the number of exhausting vehicles emission. The Statistics Bureau of Guangdong Province shares the ratio of vehicles nitrogen oxide emission in the Pearl River Delta in total has reached 42.9%. In addition, the low utilization of clean energy and the consumption from coal and fuel directly leads to the increasing of sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide. This caused the acid rain in Guangdong Province. To control the acid rain, Chinese government mainly taking the following orientation. Firstly, reducing emission of pollutants. The Chinese government clearly regulates the sulfur content in standard coal is 1%. Secondly, developing clean energy. China adopts clean coal technology to reduce coal pollution emissions. Furthermore, subsidizing policy is also an indispensable way. The Chinese government has focused on rectifying heavy polluting enterprises and punished the legal representative. These acid rain treatments have achieved significant results. For example, the Pearl River Delta region acid rain frequency were decreased from 44.3% in 2001 to 37.4% in 2013. Sea level rise is another important environmental issue affected by climate change in China. Over the past century, industrialization has resulted in a significant increase in global temperature. Coupled with other human economic engineering activities, cause the sea level change is accelerating the trend. Therefore, the natural disasters occur frequently in coastal areas that have strong influence to Shanghai. According to Sea Level Bulletin of China, the mean sea level is about 47 millimeters higher from 2001 to 2010 than the average sea level of 1980 to 1990 in Shanghai. The rise of sea level will affect the environment directly in following aspects. Firstly, over 2 million hectare wetlands will be submerged, which is 10% of cities' existing agricultural land. Secondly, floods. Sea level rise will raise storm surge water level, leading to increased storm surge damage intensity, flooding the scope of expansion. Since 1950s, the Huangpu River usually need to build a new flood-proof wall because of the higher and higher tide level. It also causes different degrees of danger in Huangpu River. Thirdly, saltwater intrusion. Saltwater gets closer and closer to the land. The three major freshwater reservoirs, which 2,450.27 million people in Shanghai rely on, are influenced in different degrees. China has 5 measures to respond to the sea level rise. Firstly, we plan the coastal dam proofing and flood prevention projects. The planning and design standards should be improved. Heighten and strengthen the existing moisture-proof and flood prevention projects. Secondly, building much more and a variety of dams to prevent the tide erosion of the coast. Thirdly, the municipal engineering design elevation should be improved. Fourth, to strengthen monitoring of salt tide. Finally, strengthen and improve the marine disaster warning system.
Okay, now let's move to the northwest of China. The biggest environmental problem in northwest of China is desertification. Desertification is land degradation in human and settlement areas. They become desert. Look at this picture. All of the colorful parts are affected by desertification, and the red and purple parts are most serious. Desertification influences the agriculture and the economic development. It costs about 6.5 billion US dollar lost in China every year. There are some pictures of desertification. We can see there were using areas before, but now they all become deserts. There are 4 main
ways of desertification: wind erosion. Wind break the land and the rock becomes it. Water erosion. Water run off and the land become dry. Salinization is the increasing of salt in the land. With high value of salt, the land cannot grow any plant. And the engineering construction is artificially destroy the land by highly pollution. This data shows the desertification effects become more and more serious in China. The cause of desertification basically is population growth. Since more people here, they need to use more land and grow more food. It leads to overgrazing and overcultivation, which means growing too many leaves and plants in the land that the land cannot hold them. And the abuse of water resources, which means the ground loses too much water and nutrition, and it cannot hold too many leaves. Deforestation is also one reason. Trees can hold the underground water and resist the strong wind. Lack of trees is easy to lead the ground degradation. Global warming may also affect desertification. High temperature could evaporate the water in the earth. To solve the problems, Chinese government developed the South to North Water Diversion Project, which is channel water from Yangtze River in the southern of China to northern. This project cannot directly solve the problems of land degradation, but can get people using water. And the legislation also very important. Chinese government need to have a standard to how protect the environment and the land area. We need also controlling of agriculture and planting more trees. And we need government subsidy and financial support. Okay, to protect our environment, we need clean air, water, and land. For the air, reduce the exchange of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gases. Take public transport rather than cars, planting more trees. For safe water, do not take the shower too long, using recycling water, and do not pour any rubbish or wastewater into the river. Cleaning land. Recycle the rubbish, do not overgrazing and over-cultivating.
The resistance of government environment in China mainly following areas. Firstly, the government environmental management institutions are not perfect. The division of labor amount of various departments within the government is unclear, and the legal state of environmental protection department is too low. Secondly, environmental management system is backwards. Chinese development current environmental management system is not systematic. It is mainly confined with some macroeconomic means of environmental management, which makes the environment management system and the economy and the other department ungraceful. Some of systems has been exposed to the new situation has not met the drawbacks, such as environmental impact assistance system and the implementation of current clean production and pollutant emissions control system is obviously not suited to the title. Thirdly, the highly financial environmental management but lack of funds, since the environmental protection system has brought the huge cost supervision and implementation, as the environmental protection development at all levels of scale and funding is very limited. So the large number of violation of environmental laws and regulation of the enterprise or the object, the environmental protection department cannot long-term effective supervision. And the weak environmental awareness of Chinese citizens is also one of the obstacles to China government's environment. China also asked cooperation from other countries, in particular the Sino-EU CDM facilitation project the EU-China Environmental Governance Project, the Sino-Germany Capacity Building Project of the State Environmental Protection Administration, the Sino-German Environmental Protection Agency, and the SINO. The Sino-US Strategic Economic Dialogue Mechanism under the Sino-US Joint Economic Research Project, and so had important impact. In 2000, the Sino-Japan ROK Environmental Awareness Raising Project was launched to provide a platform for exchange between environmental officials and environmental education NGOs in China, Japan, and Korea to assume responsibilities for the cooperation between the Northwest Pacific Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. To hold 49 environmental protection training seminars for developing countries to train 119 developing countries, 1,195 environmental officials. The United National Environment Program (UNEP) as a model of source cooperation to carry out the UNEP environmental labeling capacity building project in developing countries. UNEP Green Public Gaining Project is addressing regional environmental issues played by active role. China proposed in 2030 to make the carbon dioxide emission peak and strip to achieve as soon as possible in 2030. Carbon dioxide emission decreased by 60% to 65% in 2005. Non-fossil energy account to primary energy consumption about 20%. The volume of forest reserve increased by 4.5 billion cubic meters in 2005. In September, the Chinese government announced to establishment of a 20 billion yuan China Climate Change South-South Cooperation Fund to increase support for South-South cooperation. Next year, China will carry out 10 low-carbon demonstration zones, 100 migration and adaptation climate change project, and 1,000 climate change training places cooperation project. In developing country, China will continue to promote international cooperation in such areas as clean energy, disaster prevention, disaster mitigation, ecological protection, climate adaptive agriculture, and low carbon smart city construction, and to help them with their financial capacity.